A scheduled 8-rounder. James Stevenson of Baltimore began boxing at 21 years of age. After a brief amateur career of just 24 fights, he turned pro 8 years ago. Stevenson put together 23 wins, mostly in Maryland and mostly against opponents with upside-down records. His 2 losses have come in his last 4 fights: a 9th-round TKO at the hands of Sammy Vasquez, and 2 fights ago, an 8-round decision against the then 36-3 Roberto Garcia. Stevenson followed his second loss with a 13-month. He's had that kind of layoff. He's stick-and-move kind of guy who will use angles to avoid an aggressive opponent. Steve, let's go behind the numbers with James Stevenson.
Well, with Stevenson, Barry, we begin with early pop. I think of Stevenson more of a boxer than a puncher, but he's somewhat dangerous early. 14 of his 16 KOs have come in the first 3 rounds. Time off. Where's Stevenson been? Mostly on the shelf. Only 1 fight in 2015, only 1 fight so far this year. And size compromise. Stevenson's a small welterweight. Golub's a welterweight who's dropped down from middleweight, so potential advantage Golub.
The other half of tonight's matchup, 27-year-old Ivan Golub. As an amateur, he was a perennial medalist in the Ukrainian National Championship, getting to the medal rounds 4 different times. He's 12-0 in his 2-year pro career and has never been past 6 rounds. He had 5 fights, all victories in the World Series of Boxing before his official pro debut. We saw Golub for the first time back in March, and it was right here in Miami, Oklahoma. He took on undefeated Ecuadorian Marlon Awas. The second round, a strange round. He did not get credit for a knockdown, and he himself got knocked down and rocked. But as the fight wore on, in round 6, it was Golub on the attack. He dropped Awas down and out. Awas claiming later he had a torn biceps. So Golub, 12-0 coming into this fight. He's a left-hander, long arms. He fights on the outside. He can punch, and he comes into this fight off a second-round TKO victory back in July. So, Steve, let's go behind the numbers once again.
Well, Barry, you said he could punch. Surprise pop. 4 fights ago, Golub dropped weight and raised the level of his opposition. He's since scored 4 stoppage wins. Not bad for a guy who's supposed to be more boxer than puncher. On call. Seems I'm always pointing out that this fighter or that fighter is coming off a layoff of several months. This will be Golub's 4th fight this year. That activity refreshing and positive. And under the radar, some of Golub's stablemates like Yevgeny Hitrov, Sergey Derevanchenko, and Ivan Baranchyk have gotten more publicity. That's taken some of the pressure off Golub.
All right, and that's the setup for our first fight tonight. Ivan Golub versus James Stevenson, a welterweight bout scheduled for 8 rounds. So, for the first time tonight, let's go to the center of the ring and our ring announcer for tonight's festivities, Thomas Triber. Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to ShoBox, the new generation here at the Buffalo Run Casino Resort in Miami, Oklahoma. We get the action started with 8 rounds scheduled in the welterweight division, and it will be for the Junior NABF Championship. Brought to you by Lou DeBella's DeBella Entertainment and Holden Productions in association with Fight Promotions and Showtime, along with their great sponsors, Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina, and Azad Watches. It is sanctioned by the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission, Commissioner Glenn Vernon, along with the North American Boxing Federation, President Dwayne Ford. Supervisor is Joanna Aguilar. Our 3 judges scoring on a 10-point must system will be Jerry Griffin, Henry Gary, and David Sutherland. When the bell rings, our referee in charge, the 3rd man in the ring, will be Gerald Ritter. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He's wearing black with purple and orange and weighed in at 146 pounds. Coming to us from Baltimore, Maryland, he brings a professional record of 23 wins, 2 defeats, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome James Keep 'em Sleepin' Stevenson. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He's wearing red with gold and weighed in at 146.5 pounds. Fighting out of Brooklyn, New York, by way of Gorlovka, Ukraine. He has an undefeated record consisting of 12 wins, 10 of his wins by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Ivan the Volk Golub.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going 8 rounds for the junior NABF welterweight title. I want you to obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Let's have a good, clean fight. These trunks are a little high. This will be the line right here. This will be the line right here. Touch your gloves. Good luck to both of you.
What the tail of the tape with these two tells us, both of these welters tall for the weight. Stevenson has a small reach advantage. He'd do well to keep this fight at a distance, at long range. And the rules here in Oklahoma, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref can stop the fight. You can't be saved by the bell in any round. And if the bout ends because of an accidental foul, before the end of round 4, it would be a no decision. After that, we go to the cards. Barry.
And with that, we are set to go. We're going 8 rounds in our first fight of the evening. Busy night here in Miami, Oklahoma. Robinson in the dark trunks and Golub in the red. Stevenson, I beg your pardon.
Big difference in terms of amateur experience. Stevenson didn't start boxing until he was 21 years old, hence only 24 amateur bouts. Golub, he beat Terrell Gausha, the U.S. Olympian in Russia in 2010. He had 310 amateur fights. Pro experience, you see Stevenson, not a big difference in number of bouts, not as big as it should be given that he turned pro 4 years before. He does, however, have a 70-round edge in experience.
Very much of an action first round, maybe a little bit more than we might have expected.
So far, Stevenson doing what he said he was going to do. He said he's going to walk you down and not let you breathe. And that looks like that's his game plan.
I think he wants to test Golub. Remember, Golub has been dropped in his career. We showed you that to Awa.
The key to this fight, how competitive it's going to be, is what kind of shape Stevenson's in. Because he just wasn't in great shape in his 2 biggest fights, which were both losses. He says he's in good shape this time. If he doesn't, puts on this kind of pressure, we're going to see Golub tested as never before.
Yeah, he credits the birth of his daughter for all of that. He's got a 9-month-old daughter now. He said, quite frankly, he said, I used to be pretty lazy. I showed up when I wanted to show up. I didn't show up when I had to show up. It's a different him.
It seems like he's ready, man. He had a 6.5-week camp, so I noticed that, he was a pretty confident fighter in the fighter meetings. He says he's a lot different from his losses. And you can see his attitude in his body, the way he's attacking in the first round. But
your hands are free.
gotta be a little bit careful with a guy like Golub. I mean, this guy's experienced. He's measuring him. The way Stevenson is coming in, he's coming in with nothing, just too crazy and too open. He's going to end up getting caught with a shot.
And Golub does have some pop. Good straight left hand by Golub right there. Very competitive first round, though, an action first round.
Golub's job to discourage Stevenson from this forward progress. he can land a few big shots and Stevenson stops coming forward, that's going to be much easier for Golub.
Good combination from Golub. Stevenson got one of his own in. Golub, in the times that we've seen him, has not been a fast starter.
Yeah, well, Stevenson is a fast starter. Golub's been hurt early in that Aguas fight. So.
Yes. Good body shot with the left hand by Golub.
Nice changeup by Golub with the left hand. If you see, he changes it up. There he goes again. Up and down. Straight left hand, overhand left hand, and to the body. He's a smart fighter.
A lunging right hand by Stevenson did get there. Good first round.
All right, Chance is doing good. You hear me? Pete, you got to be first. You hear me? You hear me, Chance? You got to be first. All right? Stop letting him dictate the fight. All right? You see what I'm saying? You back up. Use your jab.
Had a chance to talk to James Stevenson about what he feels he needs to do to win this fight. Here's what he said.
Oh, I'm going to his body, man. I'm going to make him throw up what he ate. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to his body and shut him down early. You know, set the jab up and go to his body. And we're going to see what he had for breakfast.
Set it up, though.
Nice and smooth. Everything is on boxing, okay? Straight left, right uppercut. You got me? Come on, son. Work the papa. Come on.
Back up. Back up. Back up.
This is round 2 of this 8-round fight. Very competitive first round. Actually thought that Golub did a little bit more damage. Golub rather did a little bit more damage than Stevenson to the body in that first round.
Agreed, and Golub both threw more punches and landed more punches. I gave him the right.
I did too.
So did I.
We saw Andre Rozier in Golub's corner. He's the trainer of Daniel Jacobs, a middleweight champ. As a result, Golub gets to spar with Daniel Jacobs. That's great work. Even though Daniel's much bigger than Golub.
With these guys, and then you come up here and you fight the real fight. You're like, man, I've been training with this. This guy's not going to do nothing to me.
Right.
Yeah. It's a lot of. It's a confidence.
But we're seeing a little bit different side of Golub, I think, tonight than we have in the previous fight on ShowBox, because he's forced it to box. Did he hurt him there, guys?
I thought he did. I thought that left hand got Stevenson's attention.
Oh, he's hurt.
Another left hand. And Stevenson in retreat, now trying to hold on. I think he's in a little bit of trouble here.
Making a big mistake by backing up straight with his hands down.
Straight left hand again. And Golub recognizes now, and he's trying to finish the deal here. And Stevenson not far from going.
And Golub knows it.
Another good left hand.
Tell you what, I see the big difference in Golub from the last fight. Talking to Gary Stark, one of his trainers, they've been working on sitting down more on his shots, especially his hook. Because, these guys, they still fight a lot like amateurs. They think they can score points that way. But as you saw, he put some hurt. And he really sat down on them shots. And Stevenson is still hurt and was hurt and then dazed him for a couple of seconds there.
Stevenson seems to have his legs under him again, at least for the moment.
He's a tough guy. He showed that when he fought Vasquez.
Nice little step to the right by Golub.
I love to see a fighter like Golub go to the body too, because European amateurs in general don't go to the body that much because you don't get points for it. But the Americanization.
Golub trying to measure that left hand. You see, keeps touching him with the jab, solid jab, touching jab.
Yeah, it's a good jab. I think.
It's like a radar. It's like a radar preparing that left hand. Either down the pipe or to the body. Been very effective with that left hand.
Man. Huh? How bad you want this? I need you to go out there and demonstrate what we've been training to do. You hear me? I need you to utilize that.
Round 2 was very different from round 1, a round in which Stevenson gained early control, setting up the left hand there, the southpaw, with a right to the body. That's an interesting way to set up the left to the head, and it worked for Golub. And Barry and I both thought
that jab. Tight defense
that
off that
Stevenson
jab.
was hurt there.
That right hand when you're going inside. Don't let him back you up.
You see Golub throwing a lot more punches after 56 more punches after only 2 rounds, landing at a pretty good percentage as well, Barry.
It's really nice to see a young prospect improve as his opponent gets better. He improves in quantum.
Yeah, it's exactly right. The better the opponent, if you're technically sound, that will happen.
Stop.
Well, Stevenson's showing a lot of heart here because he was hurt in the second round.
Yes.
A lot of times a fighter hurt early will back up the rest of the fight, go into survival mode. He's trying to win.
He's tough. He's got a lot of heart. But you can see the difference in skill level from Stevenson and Golub. You know, starting with Golub, just his technique, the way he stands, his footwork, his power. You see Stevenson he's too wild. He's rushing in there. He's fighting out of frustration. And that could get him in trouble.
And he's walking into a pretty stiff
Yes.
jab. That's not just a show-me jab of Golub.
Yeah, Raul, to echo what you said, I think Stevenson throws that right hand, which is, of course, a good weapon against the lefty.
Right.
He throws it from pretty far outside, and in a looping fashion. It's begging to be countered.
Yeah, he's not using anything to, shorten up that distance. He's got to jab his way in. He's throwing it from a mile away, and he's going to get caught all the time.
Yeah, Golub is only the second left-hander that Stevenson has ever faced. He told us no problem. But so far it's been something of a problem.
No, not down.
That's a slip.
Box.
Good left hand of the body again.
Very controlled performance by Golub. When he landed that left to the body just now, he took a step back. He was out of range.
Yeah, much more consistent performance than we've seen from him before. Definitely a fighter on the improve. Nice left hand there, right over the right hand of Stevenson.
I think Golub needs to work the body a little bit more. You saw Stevenson he's taking his best shots to the head.
Yeah.
Let some steam out, work the body, both sides of the body. Oh.
Right hand, and that drops Stevenson. Terrific punch. Stevenson bounces right back up.
5, 6, 7, 8. Walk to me. Come this way, all right? Good to go. Box.
Wow. See a southpaw score a knockdown with a right hook is impressive.
That was a big right hook. And Golub right back on him. Stevenson in trouble once again. Can he survive the round? Back into the ropes he goes. Right on top of him is Golub. And that's it. Fight's over. Gerald Ritter had seen enough. Pretty impressive performance.
Barry, I talked earlier about maybe the fact that some of his stablemates, some of Golub's stablemates, like Baranchik, have gotten more publicity, so he's been under the radar. No more under the radar after that performance.
Absolutely. That was very impressive, Raul.
Yes, and a lot of improvement. And if you saw what Gary Starks was talking to me about earlier today or yesterday about him sitting down on his hook, his right hook, and that, did you see the power behind the right hook? And he hurt him. That's what started.
I'll say
very solid. You know, the all of it is learning, and that's what you want to see in a fighter. That's what motivates also a trainer, and great performance by him.
Yeah, I thought so too. And frankly, I thought at the times we've seen him prior, okay, I can only speak for myself. I was lukewarm.
Yeah.
Tonight, huge improvement.
Well, that was an A performance. You think about Stevenson being in less good shape than he was tonight, going 9 tough rounds with Sammy Vasquez, who was a borderline contender, and Roberto Garcia, he went the distance with in a losing effort. And tonight, against a Stevenson who's in shape, he blows him out. Here it is. Watch the right. That's a short punch, Raul.
That was nice and short.
Yeah, that's
the
what
punch
made
you don't see. On top of that, it had a lot of power behind it. See the way he sits on it. Look at that.
He just beat Stevenson to the trigger because that punch was so short. And Golub was very comfortable letting Stevenson come to him. Walked him into the punch. Beautifully done. And Stevenson's a tough guy, so he wanted to keep fighting, but the follow-up, here it is. He gives Gerald Ritter really no choice. And again, he went to the body a couple of times.
And he really had no answer. I thought well stopped by Gerald Ritter.
And at the end of the day, it was a difference of skill level between both fighters. You could see it from the beginning.
Even though Stevenson's far more the experienced fighter.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go. Thomas Schreiber will make it all official. Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes, 51 seconds of round number 3. Our referee in charge, Gerald Ritter, steps in, stops the contest. Your winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated. And now the